Welcome to Bits of an Artist's Life. This is Sandy Hester. I thought this week we could paint some abstract flowers together. I have been crazy busy, a lot of editing, YouTube work, video work, that kind of stuff, and I need to paint. You know what I mean? I really need to paint. And we've got some beautiful flowers growing in the garden. So I think what I'm going to do is go out and clip some of those, bring them in to a very, very simple bouquet. How do you say that? Anyways, a jar of flowers. Bring them in the studio and let's just slop some paint together on paper. I just kind of want to get warmed up. I'm not worried about a finished painting. I just want to slop some paint around, and I thought we could do that together. That way I can do two things at once. Film a video for y'all and wet a brush. Let's jump into this week's painting abstract flowers. Not sure why I felt the need to sing that, but let's do it. Let's get to painting. Let me first go over the supplies that I have. I've got a limited palette, obviously my flowers. I'm going to put those out of the way for just a second. I've got my box of NEOCOLORs, the water-soluble NEOCOLORs. May or may not use those, but they will be here. I'm going to be using FABRIANO hot press watercolor paper that is 140 pounds, 9 by 12. Sometimes what I'll do with leftover paint is just smear it on something, paper, canvas, whatever's around. So I thought, well, this could be kind of nice for just starting off as a background. Will likely get rid of it, but who knows. And then a limited palette. I may even limit it even more. I may not use all these colors, but what I've got here are my warms and my cool. So I've got titanium white, I've got a cad yellow, I've got quinacridone magenta, I have cad red. I think this is maybe cad red medium. It really doesn't matter. Cad red light, cad red medium, any of those will be great, because even if you have cad red dark, you can lighten it up with your yellow. This right here is just a mixture of titanium white and phthalo blue, ultramarine. This is dioxazine purple. May or may not use it. I'll probably use it to dirty up some colors or to change my pinks around. And then this is just a black. I've got a palette. I've got just a random supply of brushes, just different sizes, different textures, some that are really soft, some that, have obviously greatly been used, and I just am constantly switching up my brushes. You can see a list of my favorite brushes on my website where I have supplies listed, my favorite supplies, and who knows, I may even grab something other than that. I've got a bowl of water here and some nice warm water to drink, and we'll jump in. I'm really aiming for loose. So what I think I want to do is just kind of take a flower at a time and take it out of the jar and examine it and get started. I think I want to paint for 20 to 30 minutes max. So I think what I'm going to do is set the timer for 10 minutes to just remind myself. In fact, I like to remind myself to get going. In fact, I do think I want to take just grabbing a orangish NeoColor, and let me just grab a flower and get going. I decided to not pick a whole bunch of different types of flowers, because I thought I would just keep it simple. And I also think by talking with y'all, it's going to be nice because it will help me. I was going to set that NeoColor that I used off to the side. I think it was that one. Let's pick maybe a blue. No. I'm going to use kind of the same color. I just really right now I'm using this a little bit as kind of a warm-up, and I love these little star things. Look at these little star things. Oof. I'll probably put those around also. I like that. Also like how this stem is kind of going like this. Again, I'm just using this drawing right here to warm up just a little bit and to get this color, these colors basically around. Let me pick one with a different shape. Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, one flower just went overboard. This has like a cone kind of thingy with like little things up at the top. Okay, let's get to painting. I just really want to slop stuff on. So let me just pick one up, go for it. All right. I think you could be surprised. Hold on. Okay, just to help me be able to like swish around on this palette, I'm going to bring in like this little like thing to help this not slide so I can really get after it. What was I saying? I don't know. Really, oh, I want colors that are not just straight from the tube. You really do want to use neutrals more than what you think. With flowers, I think you immediately think, oh, bright colors, and I'm hoping you'll see here that the more neutral you go, the better things turn out. I also just want to slop things on right now. I really don't want to think too much, and I think talking to y'all is going to help that. Let's get some like leaves kind of stuff, and maybe even do some splattering. I also like, I think I'm going to grab one of these NEOCOLORs. I like this deep kind of, actually let's just make the color. It's a little bit like a maroon that I'm really liking. I can already tell I'm not going to have enough palette space. Then can I use that color anywhere else? Let's just see what that looks like when it's light. Yeah, that is going to be good for like this color. So I don't even know where I put that flower at this point, but that's okay because all these other marks will be nice. I think I want to bring that down here too. I always like to move colors around. Then this has a nice orange in the middle that I really like. Let's see. While that's still wet, I want to just kind of mark that in there. And then I'll have some of that on my thing and I'll just wipe it off on my pants, my paint pants, or maybe I'll just do it right here. Don't think that's exactly what I wanted. Then also, like, if I've got paint, on other things, I will move it around. I wasn't sure if I was going to use draw the, oh my goodness, I'm in paint mode, so it's like I can't think, I can't talk. Grab another palette. The jar, that's what I'm trying to say. I wasn't sure if I was going to do the jar or not. But it's looking like I'm not. See, look how bright that pink is. I do not want to go like that because I think you're going to really see how vibrant things look if I keep things more neutral. And if I go too neutral at first, I can always then make it brighter later. I want to think about size right now also. Let's just kind of draw in here with our paintbrush. Almost a toothbrush with our paintbrush. Not a toothbrush. That was too obvious. This one's dried a little more so I can do it a little better. And then I had some leftover paint, so I want to move that around. What color was the center of that? Let's do that. Let's also do a little more splatters. Okay. What else do we have? I like this guy. I like how he's got like little spikes coming off the end. So I'm going to use that blob that I did right there. Let's just make it spiky. I'm squinting my eyes a lot also to check out value, to see what I think about value and how that's playing since I've got that background. Really wonderful yellow star things. I think this is still too wet, yeah, to go in with my NEOCOLORs. Just move that color around a little bit. I think I'm also going to reach into these and just do some kind of like, look at the petals. Let's get some marks on top of these so it's not just the flowers. Oh, my first timer went. Okay, I'm going to restart it. But that's just a good reminder to like work fast. So sometimes I'll even just clean the thing off on here so that I'm getting extra marks. I do like this yellow, I think. Do I want to get that in? I do want to start getting the yellow in. Let me switch brushes. Let me go for a real small one. And I think I want a warmish yellow. I think what I want to do is add some purple to, yeah, that's it right there, to neutralize it. And I love how it kind of creates like a little halo. I just got like really quiet. And see, even with just my splatters, I've created another kind of flower-like thing right there. I think I want to kind of give it a stem. I need to think about interest down here too, though. I mean, I want the eye being lit up. I think what I'm going to do is actually take a little break and let this dry because I'm wanting to work over it and get some different marks, but things are a little wet. So I think what I'm going to do, take a break, let this dry, and decide if I need to stop or if I want to start another one while this one's dry. Okay, I am back from a break. It's not fully dry yet. There's still a little bit of wet places, but I actually really like it. I could take it further, and I was actually pulling out some of my NEOCOLORs and kind of looking at this color, this kind of, I don't know what color it is, but it's a nice blue, like sky blue. I was thinking about doing the word flower down here, so I took a picture of this and then played with like my, what is that app that I use? Called Pocket on my phone. And I took a picture and then just played with the word flower, and then I took it to Grady, and he said he likes it both ways, but he's partial to it without. So I think what I'm going to do is just sign it and let that be, you know, what I do. And I think I'm going to use that bluish color as inspo for just plopping my name down here, which I think can be part of, wait, I better not talk while I'm doing my name because I will spell it wrong. And I also am doing it way too big. I mean, that's fine, but I think normally with this size I wouldn't have made it so big, but because I was talking. Let's see, Hester. You wouldn't think it'd be easy to misspell your name, but you know, it is. Whoops. Okay, so there's that. Super fun. I felt warmed up, and I'll probably spend the rest of the day using these flowers to paint some more because this was super fun. And I also like the way the background added kind of just a nice base right off the get-go. There's definitely more I could do to this, but since, like, I do think I could probably mess with the value a little bit back there. Do I want to do that? See, this is what happens. Then I just like kind of keep going. No. I'm going to stop. Okay, let me point out a couple things though. Do you see how when I was taking that NEOCOLOR and kind of around in here, those marks that were left, even here, I was playing with it and it wasn't exactly working, but it left marks. Now, if you don't have NEOCOLORs, you can do that with your finger. You can do that with the end of a brush. I mean, I'm always like, in fact, I've got, let's make some little in that wet paint right there. That needed a little interest. And now I've got some paint on my brush, so let's add that to there. I kind of liked that that was, yeah, it's just using your instruments and your tools in different ways. You can get nice, different marks. So keep that in mind. And did I use every color on here? I did use every color. Did I need every color? I didn't, but yeah, limited palette is the way to go. Also, I want you to notice how neutral and yet how colorful it still feels. Okay, I thought I would do another one using simplified palette. I started with my white piece of paper, and I just used some of that leftover paint that was on my palette and thinned it. I wanted to knock the white like away just a little bit, so that way any white that was showing would be kind of, you know, not just stark white. It would have a little life to it. I actually ended up going a little too light. I shouldn't have done all this dabbing at it. I was kind of mainly just doing that to dry it a little bit because I really wanted to get to painting. And I'm going to do the same thing, just picking up these flowers one by one. I decided to start with this really big brush. I think I ended up getting a little too carried away with this one. You'll see I worked quite a bit on it. And I'm also struggling with my palettes. I don't know why they were wanting to move around on me so much, but basically I'm trying to just be abstract. I'm trying to be loose, and I decided to take this one a little further, and I think because of that, I overworked it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. You can let me know what y'all think at the end if I overworked it. But again, I'm using those NEOCOLOR. At this point, I've gotten mixed up with NEOCOLOR 1 and NEOCOLOR 2. I used to really know them very clearly which one was which, but basically these are the water-soluble ones. It really doesn't matter to me which ones I use. If I know I'm going to go back over it, then I want the non-soluble ones, but the water-soluble ones allow you to, just wet it again or kind of erase it even if you wanted to. So there's maybe a little bit more forgiving in that sense. You can see here too, I'm getting some of that paint on the NeoColors again and just wipe it off a little bit. I was just trying to kind of create a little bit of color, but also texture in there. I changed brushes. This is actually an oil brush. It's like a hog bristle, just a super, super cheap one. Very bristly, like stiff bristles. And I like switching brushes because it just helps you get different marks. It makes you kind of lay the paint down differently. And at this point, I'm just kind of in like, let's just get stuff down. I'm not thinking too much, or I'm trying to not think too much. I'm just plopping stuff down. I'm doing a voiceover because for this one, I decided I just was going to focus on painting, but I actually think talking to y'all while I was doing it was helpful because it kind of kept my brain from overthinking, and I think I really overthought this one. I just put too much in. I should have edited, but y'all might end up liking the non-edited. You know what I mean? You just never know. They're kind of both different. I actually ended up really liking it. Not exactly at this state, but you'll see when I start putting in too much. But I did like this light background. I think I liked the value difference and maybe the simplicity. I think you can also see the line work and the marks a little better. So as I've been editing and replaying this, and even now as I'm watching it back, I'm like, there was just a simplicity to it that I really enjoyed at the early stages. That is probably a benefit to filming and editing and having to watch back. I get to learn my mistakes and see my mistakes a little better. Not that the final painting of this is a mistake, but you know what I'm talking about. I am just blabbing away here, aren't I? Okay, what can I tell you about the painting? Let's see. Well, there was something else about, I do think you regularly, there's that word again. Is that the same word I was having trouble with earlier? Anyways, I do think you should often, let me just use a different word, should often push things, because that is the only way to know when you should actually stop. Some artists for their whole life have that problem of overdoing things, but I do think, especially when you're just playing like this, that you should go and go and go. While I'm doing this kind of painting, I'm often just trying to not look at the whole. I'm just seeing an area or a color and thinking, ooh, what about this? And so I just put it down. I'm also thinking about moving the color around, that kind of stuff. I'm not thinking about the whole thing at this point. Okay, at this point right now, I'm writing in the word flowers because the last one I thought about putting that word in, but didn't. And here I'm like, I ran out of room. So I decided to just extend the word over to the other side, which I think works. I can't decide if I like this better or what I ended up doing, because I end up obliterating this completely. But I think that's part of what's fun about this kind of thing. Okay, here, I skipped forward. I ended up pushing stop on the camera, and I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit because I end up just, I'm just making a mess. I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. I kept taking breaks. I would take a lunch break and come back, and then I'd be like, ooh, what about this? Let me do this. Oh, I don't really like that. Let me do this. And here I add this word. I added a French word for flower. I think it's la fleur or something. I don't know, something like that. If it had dried just like this with this value, I think it would have worked, but it ended up drying too dark. And also because the reddish orange underneath that la fleur, I'm sure somebody's laughing at the way I'm saying that French word. It just didn't, it dried too dark and I didn't like it. So then that just gave me the freedom to let me play a little more and push it. And I still can't decide if I like it like this or before, but it really doesn't matter because this is how it is at this point. You know what I mean? Then I ended up outlining that with a little bit of a punchy pink that I had used in other places. And I don't know. I probably won't know till tomorrow. There's something about it I really do like, and I like that it evolved. So there it is in all its overworked, nice mark making, colorful glory. Hope that made you excited to go paint for yourself, whether it's flowers or something else. I do think flowers are just such a nice thing because they're pretty readily. They're very available. Yeah, you can just get some weeds or flowers from your garden, from the grocery store. I better not try to say regularly again. Anyways, I used to every Saturday when we went to the grocery get flowers. I would just get the cheapest stuff, whatever felt exciting. I'd always have like a bouquet in the studio. And I do love this kind of abstract flower thing. Probably in last videos or in past videos, you've seen where I'll paint something like I love you or flowers for you, something on there. And I think it's just a nice way to give a gift to somebody or a card, and also just a nice way to warm up the hand. And it's an easy subject for abstraction, I think. So let me know if you enjoyed this type of video, if you're ready to go paint, and I will see you back here in 2 more weeks. Bye.